Welcome to Axon Permissions. Working with Axon involves sharing information across an organization. Axon also provides the ability for non-logged-in users or viewer-only users to search and view all inventories apart from specifically restricted objects. These are information consumers. Then we have the licensable Axon users, the governance contributors, the stewards and change agents. The objects that they can see, create or edit and the functions that they can perform are all managed through roles and permissions in Axon. In this demonstration, we will take a look at Axon permissions and user roles. Axon is a collaborative tool which relies on interaction between different stakeholders across an array of objects and facets or inventories. While collaboration is key, control must be maintained to ensure that only the right people can create and change Axon content. Axon's permissions engine gives you that control. However, these permissions can only be understood after we've explained profiles. You can see your own profile in the Unison search or in your own user account. Here I have logged in as myself, and if I click on the menu, I can open up my account. And I can see that I have been assigned the super admin profile. Alternatively, if I click search and open the people facet or inventory, I can update the view to include the profile name, which means that for each user that exists within Axon, I can see the profile they have been assigned over to the right. Each Axon user has an account created for them. There are 3 types of account which are identified by the profile each user has. The super admin profile will allow the user not only to see, create and edit any object in any facet, which I can see if I go to my Create menu, we see that I can create all objects in Axon. Not only that, but I can access the admin panel, which will allow me to make configuration changes to the entire Axon application. Users with the admin profile will have the same unrestricted access to creating and updating objects. They will also have access to the admin panel, but they will have a more limited ability to interact with the menus here. The most common profile given to Axon users is that of the web user. In this example, we are logged in as Ken Adams, who has been created as a web user within Axon. Any user that doesn't have an administrator role will have a web user profile. As such, almost all users in Axon will have the web user profile. When first created, a web user account will have no ability to create or edit any objects. Note here that Ken Adams does not have the Create menu available to him, which means that he cannot create objects within Axon. While he cannot edit any objects, he has the ability to create change requests. Any logged-in user has the ability to create and participate in change request workflows within Axon. It is permissions that allow us to control which web users are allowed to create and edit Axon objects. In order for a web user to start assuming responsibilities, they need to be assigned stakeholder roles. If we click on the Stakeholders tab for this Atlas system, we can see our two users, Ken Adams and Barry Ducey, have been assigned stakeholder roles on this object. Different roles can be configured for any facet. Some roles will allow edit and others won't. We will describe these permissions shortly. Note that from the Stakeholder tab, it is easy to see what permissions have been assigned to any given role. If we click on the microphone icon beside the System Data SME, which is the role that has been assigned to Ken, we can see that this role has been assigned the view permission. This means that Ken will have the ability to view the object, but cannot edit or create new systems. If we click on the microphone icon that is beside the System Business Owner role that has been assigned to Barry Ducey, we can see that with this role, additional permissions have been assigned. This means that Barry will be able to view, edit, and create new systems. So now we know how to tell which permissions a role can have, but what do view, edit, and new actually mean? The first permission which all roles are typically given is view. Anyone who holds a role with the view permission can see this specific object. There is a limited capability to suppress objects from general view in Axon, but it makes sense that anyone given a stakeholder role can see it, even if they cannot edit it. That's what we use the view permission for. The second permission is edit. If a role bestows the edit permission, it means that the user has been trusted with the responsibility of maintaining that object and can update descriptions, descriptors, relationships, etc. Having logged in as the user Barry, which is our second user, I'm going to open up the same system . And we can see immediately that the Edit button is now available for Barry, which means that he has the permission to make edits and updates to this particular object. The third and final permission is New. If a web user has one or more stakeholder roles, with this permission, they have the ability to create new objects in that facet or inventory only. In Barry's example, he was assigned the permission New, and we can see that he has the Create menu available to him and has the ability to create new systems as well as new data sets. This means that he was assigned a stakeholder role with the new permission on a data set within Axon. And that's how Axon ensures that the right access can be given to the right people. Remember that permissions are designed to work for the web user profile because the different admin users already have access to create and edit objects. There's nothing to stop administrators holding object-level roles, but the permissions we've described will have no effect because their account profile already gives them all three permissions on every object. It's common to have different Axon users have responsibility for objects in different facets or inventories, and the permissions engine supports giving them the right control. In this video, we have shown that web users inherit permissions from the stakeholder roles that they are assigned. They will lose the permissions if these stakeholder roles are transferred or revoked. Anyone who has a given stakeholder role inherits the same set of permissions, and each role can have any combination of create, edit, and view. When setting up your permissions framework, your administrators need to remember that giving new or edit permissions may count against your total number of licensed users. And that's how Axon supports enterprise data governance, through the ability to allow the right experts to edit and create the right content for your organization.